Naptown, the city that always sleeps. Most people think nothing happens in the town that is halfway between nothing and nowhere, but they would be wrong. There's plenty that goes on in this town for those willing to look. This summer has been wetter than a fish's mouth, and everyone in the city wants nothing more than to be indoors. But crime doesn't rest, so neither can anyone else. On one particularly rainy night, poor Mr. Reid met his end. One moment he was laughing, the next his body was dropped off in front of the Steward University, lips wrapped around a question that would never be asked. But before you start to feel too sorry for Mr. Reid, remember that nothing is ever what it seems in the city that always sleeps. Hey, Wanderers, and welcome back to the Wandering Gamer. Nope, that's our Let's Play intro. I have been listening to a lot of those.
And also, you can't welcome them back to a series that we just started.
I mean, I can welcome them back to our channel, our podcast. Anyway, hey, Wanderers, and welcome to our newest podcast. We are going back into City of Mist, and I will be running the game this time instead of Cody. We are in a small Midwestern town. And by small, I mean we're in a Midwestern city, nondescript, called Naptown, where crazy shenanigans happen, and our investigators are trying their best to solve some crimes. So, why don't we go around the imaginary table we have and introduce ourselves? Who wants to go first?
Oh, we're totally all in the same room.
I can go first. I am playing Detective Tanner. Detective Tanner is in air quotes, retired police detective. He retired after a unfortunate occurrence where he was trying to stop an armed assailant who stabbed him repeatedly in the arm while he was grappling with him. And as a result of the injuries, he had to have the arm amputated, after which the police department didn't exactly promote him, but they just kind of offered him a desk job. And, you know, it wasn't that he was fired. It was just like, well, we don't want you to be out in the field anymore. And Tanner found this to be unacceptable, so he quit to start his own private investigation firm. Now, are we going to talk about our mythos stuff as well, like who the mythological thing is that's influencing us?
I'm cool with it.
Oh, okay. So Tanner is would the correct term be a rift for Tyr?
A rift of, I think?
A rift of Tyr, who is a Norse god who was famous for binding Fenrir, and then also in that effort of binding Fenrir got his arm ripped off, so that's kind of the connection with his mythos. So now Tanner is just working as a PI and also doing jobs as they come up of a more like supernatural nature.
Cool. Who would like to go next? Caitlin, you're up.
All right. I am Faye Cameron, who is an attorney in the city. She's part of a family law firm currently run by her brother, Art Cameron. He is more the like front man, the one in court, the like flashy one, and she is the one doing research and getting everything prepped for court dates, and is more behind the scenes. She is a rift of Morgan Le Fay, the sorcerer from Arthurian legends. What else am I supposed to say?
Anything else you want? Anything else you want us to know about her?
Maybe describe her personality, like how tall she is, how old she
Nobody
is.
asked you.
Did you expect...
That joke will just never get old.
You know, I couldn't resist. We're doing character introduction, but I could not do that.
She has kind of auburn hair cut in a bob and green eyes. She is late 20s. She is unmarried, much to her parents' chagrin, dismay. I don't know. They're not keen on it.
What's the name of your law firm?
I think it was like Cameron and Sons. So she's definitely being overlooked in that naming scheme. So yeah, I think that's all I want to say about her.
Cody.
Yeah.
Does Detective Tanner's Private Eye have a name?
No, it's not like
It's Detective Tanner. That's the name.
Yeah,
of
I
his
mean, like, he's a private eye. He doesn't have like he doesn't have like multiple private eyes working for him. So it's just you hire Detective Tanner.
Oh, I didn't know if he like had a pithy name.
No, he wouldn't have that. I did forget to mention what Detective Tanner looks like. He's mid-40s. He's not overly tall, and he's very heavy set. Like, he's just kind of chunky. And kind of despite his appearance, he's always been very physically adept, which has been what kept him, like, in the streets as long as it did working, was that he just kept passing physical requirement after physical requirement, almost to like people's chagrin. Like at this point they would have expected him to kind of be slowing down, and it just never happened for him. But yeah, so that's what he looks like. I forgot to mention it.
All right, Vinny, tell us about Seamus.
So I am playing Seamus Finnegan. He is a retired Army major. He was in the military and in a combat accidentally killed a civilian, and so he left the military. Couldn't deal with the ramifications of what had happened, and now he works as like private security, or like body. Like he'll be hired to like protect some famous person that's in town, or just go be a bouncer at this nightclub for a night or something. Like he just kind of is hired out to go be hired muscle, basically. He frequently will work with Detective Tanner on some of his cases. Although the way it happens is that Detective Tanner will call Seamus's like company, and they don't really like dealing with him, so they just always send me because they know we get along. And also on the side he does like boxing, prize fighting type stuff, just as a hobby. He is mid-30s, decently tall, like muscular build. I didn't really think of any other appearance besides that. Seamus is a vessel or rift or whatever for Finn McCool, who is an Irish like folk hero, warrior, sometimes depicted as like a giant, and also is known for accidentally stealing the salmon of knowledge when his master asked him to cook it, and he accidentally like got some of the oil on his finger, tasted it, and then basically inherited all the knowledge from it. So that one of Seamus's mythos is that he has his dog tags. Whenever he interacts with them, can give him supernatural knowledge or things that he wouldn't normally be able to see. Something else I wanted to say about him. He is Irish American descent, naturally. With a name like Seamus, makes sense. I'm going to attempt an Irish lilt for my character voice, but we'll see how that goes.
We'll see just how racist it gets.
Yeah, I'm going to try to avoid that. That's what I want to try to avoid.
I understand. Mandy, you're all that's left.
All right. So I will be playing Darlene Lovell, but pretty much nobody calls her that. Everyone calls her by her stage name, which is Darling. She is a jazz hall singer and a very classical beauty. So she doesn't really go by she doesn't really look like she belongs in the 1920s. She's very pretty. She's got very long dark hair versus like the short look. But she does kind of go with the makeup trends, which is real fun in the 20s. And like the flapper dresses. She's like late 20s. So it's Rift, right? Because I keep wanting to call it a vessel, but her Rift is Aphrodite. Did I forget anything?
I don't think so.
I think I'm good.
So, I think it's time to get started. Unless you guys have anything else that we need to cover. Please bear with us as we relearn the rules to City of Mist. It's been... We actually never played with the official rules. When we started playing it last time, all we had was the starter set.
Yeah,
and we did back it, and now we're using the full book.
And we never recorded that, did we?
We did.
City
Did
of
we
Mist?
record
Yeah.
some? I couldn't remember.
We recorded about a season's worth, what we consider a season.
Yeah.
So, we begin. You guys have been called to the Mythical Grove, which is your local speakeasy. It is the base of operations for your little ragtag group that is part of the Order, which is this ancient organization that works on protecting the city from mystical threats and other weird things. It kind of keeps the balance between good and bad, so that, like, the people who are bad aren't destroying the city, and the people who are good aren't also destroying the city on a zealous crusade to stop the bad people. Your organization is quite small right now. You are one of 3 different teams of about 4 each that go out and do missions. Not much else is really known about the Order. You guys have all been in it for a while. You guys have all been a team for several years now. You know each other, you get along for the most part. The speakeasy you're at is also the local hangout for many different rifts, not only those just in the Order, but the Order seems to use it as a base of operations, at least for you guys.
I was also wondering how much. We all have like our bonds and stuff with each other already. How much do we want to get into that, if at all? Like how we know each other, or like how we've interacted previously.
I think that can be subtext.
Okay.
So the speakeasy here is it's like halfway between high and low class. Like, it's nice stuff, but it's all like secondhand. You know, it's like the second kid of a restaurant. Everything looks to have been used and reused several times. There's been their fair share of bar fights that you've seen, but they're usually broken up pretty quickly. But, you know, when you have people who can throw fireballs, things tend to get a little bit more damaged. Every other chair seems to have a different design to it. There's no, like, one matching set anywhere, but it kind of makes it feel more homey to you guys. All that being said, the alcohol here is the best alcohol you guys have ever tasted. You're in the throes of Prohibition, and even before Prohibition, you don't think alcohol tasted this good. You guys are all at a table. Are you guys talking about anything in specific? Are you all there already? It's probably mid-afternoon.
So we're day drinking.
You're day drinking.
I think Detective Tanner would not be there yet. Like, if there is a time he is supposed to be there, he is not 15 minutes early.
I think Faye would be getting there, like, right on time. Like, she would be trying to maximize her time at the law firm, but is, like, punctual still.
What day of the week is this?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
I think Darling, since most of her job takes place at night in the jazz hall, she's actually there really early, but it's only because she doesn't have a whole lot else to do at the moment. So if she's there before everyone else is there, she's got like a Cosmo at the bar.
Fun thing I learned today when doing research in the 1920s is 1920s are when cocktails became popular because alcohol tasted so bad.
Yep.
That makes sense.
So they started mixing other things into it.
And because like if you're gonna get your alcohol and you want to have a lot of it, beer you just can't. Like, beer's not gonna get you drunk.
Yeah.
You drink a lot less and
well, everything was also so watered down because they're like, well, we can make this go forever because you have no choice now.
Yep. Okay. I imagine that Seamus's job as like private security is primarily on the weekends. That's when I guess I said in the intro that he would serve as like a bouncer for club, but if it's Prohibition, he wouldn't do that because I guess maybe like a little like under the table type of deal, but wouldn't be official for sure.
You could be a bouncer to speak easy.
Yeah, but I mean, my company wouldn't necessarily want to be involved in that. Maybe they would. I don't know. But his stuff primarily takes place on the weekends, and he has a decent enough pension, as weird as that sounds to have a pension at 30-something from his military service. So he doesn't need to work a whole lot outside of this. That's why he's able to do the prize fighting and stuff as a hobby. He has been there already and is a drink in. Like, he got there like an hour early and has already had a drink.
So I'm assuming you're sitting with Darling.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, probably. We're probably catching up on a few things.
Yeah, at some point once he arrived, I think we kind of found a table.
Okay, so as you guys wait, Do Faye and Tanner show up on time?
Lord, no.
Okay. Faye is punctual, though, yes?
Yes. Faye is punctual. She gets there right on time and orders a gin and tonic.
Okay, so as soon as... Let's say your meeting was at 4 o'clock. As soon as it hits 4 o'clock, the three of you are, like, talking, and then you feel... You know, like, when the sun goes behind a cloud and it just feels a little bit cooler all of a sudden? You get kind of that feeling, and you look behind you and you see Idris. He is dressed in a suit, and all of him has a faint blue glow to him. That is the majority of what you know about Idris, is what he looks like. He is your mission giver. He has been your mission giver since you guys were formed as a team. The weird thing about him that makes you all feel a little uncomfortable, though, is that you can't really see his eyes. Like, top half of his face is, like, covered in shadow. And part of that you feel is due to the lighting, because this is a speakeasy. It's not, like, the most well-lit place you've ever been in. And you think it would make you way more uncomfortable if you've ever seen him anywhere else, but it's still a little disquieting.
Do we know who he's a rift of?
You do not.
Okay.
Does he just kind of appear, or does he hang out?
He just appears. Mm-hmm.
He just appears. Okay.
Afternoon, Idris.
Good afternoon, Faye.
Pleasure to see you here, Idris. You got a new job for us?
That's why I called you in. Where's Tanner?
Late as usual.
From outside, you hear a very loud banging rattle, and then the sound of an engine dying, and then you hear, like, footstep, bang! And Detective Tanner is framed in the doorlight. He looks very disheveled, his shirt's untucked, he's wearing a suit coat, one of the sleeves is very ripped, and he's bleeding from his, like, face, just from all over his face.
Okay.
He has deep purple bags under his eyes and looks around kind of half dazed. Sees you guys and kind of just slams his way through the bar. Am I late? What's, I see, Idris is here, so, I assume that means I'm late. Apologies. I've been bleeding. Anyways, he sits down, he looks over at Darling and Seamus, and goes, you know that drinking's illegal, just so you know. Anyways, Idris, go ahead, I'm here, what's up?
So Faye just silently takes the ice out of her drink and folds it in a napkin and hands it to Tanner.
Tanner looks at her and goes, never use the stuff.
You mean ice?
Yeah.
Hey, Cody, what point are you role-playing? I haven't seen the role-play yet. Thank you for joining us, Detective Tanner. You are only normally late, no more than usual.
Yeah.
We'll count this as a win, I guess. So, I've called you here because the body of a Mr. Victor Reid has been found, murdered, apparently, on the steps of the Stewart University Library.
Anything else you can tell us about him?
I have no idea who Mr. Reid is. It is just unusual for a dead body to show up in the middle of a university campus.
Can you tell us about age of the victim?
Mr. Reid's, from the preliminary reports that I have received, he seemed to be a middle-aged man of a rather large build.
Oh, so a big fella. Alright. Wealthy? Wealthy guy?
I have no idea. That is why I've called you guys in.
Great.
Not to be impolite, but this seems like something for the police to solve. What exactly has caught the attention of a rift, such as yourself?
The main thing that concerns me is that, yes, murders happen all the time, but usually when people are murdered, they're not done in the middle of one of the most public places you can imagine. It's kind of like if somebody showed up in the middle of the circle just lying dead. It's a little weird. And additionally, college campuses are known for being popular hangouts even during nocturnal hours. So whoever had to do this was in a hurry for something, and this seems more unusual than just a simple mugging. However, it could be nothing, and if it's that, don't worry about solving it. Just figure out that there's nothing weird going on, and you guys can go back to your lives, and send me the usual information that it's just a normal murder, and then you can go on your merry way. Otherwise, I would like you to put a stop to who's ever doing these strange murders, because this seems to be a rogue agent in the city.
So there's been more than one.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming there will be multiple if it's a rift. When has a rift ever been?
The one and done type?
Yes.
Makes us think that it is a murder.
I mean, a 40-year-old man usually isn't found frequenting college campuses.
Could have been a professor.
There wasn't like a knife sticking out of him or anything, was there?
Not that I know of, but I don't get out much.
Yeah, that's true about you. You're kind of, well, spooky, I guess you'd say.
Says the one who grows a bone axe.
No, that's not common. Anyways,
Do you know what time of day he was found? Was he found in the night or in the morning?
From the little I know, I believe that he was found in the early morning. However, as far as I understand, there are still police at the scene, so if you go ask them, I am sure they will be more than happy to help. Is there anything else I can assist you all with?
I mean, I have a flat, if you want to, I have a flat tire. Coffee, too,
Are
would be...
Are you playing Calico again?
What? Seamus, sorry, I've this is 36 hours on no sleep.
Darling leans over and pats his shoulder. Don't worry, dear. We'll get you a coffee on the way.
He jumps as soon as you touch him. He's like, what? Yeah, on the way.
So, as you guys are talking, without really realizing it, without noticing it, Idris does leave. He just disappears. Like, 1 second he's there, the next second he's gone. None of you really see him leave, so you don't know if he just floated away or just disappeared or whatever. And this is pretty common practice for him. He seems very, very secretive.
Right, though, he's spooky. Right? It's not just me saying he's spooky. He is kind of spooky, right?
Oh, undoubtedly.
I heard that.
So we're off to Steward then?
Yeah, I mean, if y'all want, one of you can drive my car, because I shouldn't anymore.
I'll drive.
He tries to hand you the keys and just drops them on the floor.
I'm excited for Cody to pass out in the middle of a fight because he's so tired. Okay, so how do you guys all arrive at Steward University?
I thought we were all driving together.
Are you driving?
I'm asleep in the back of my Ford Model A.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you were taking Tanner's car that has a flat, or if you're all taking the transportation you used to arrive here.
It's not that flat. It's just a little flat.
Stop trying to justify your bad life choices to me.
Stop trying to mechanically disadvantage us because of his narrative flair.
Is there a spare somewhere on the car?
Yeah, I think they have them on the side, yeah.
Okay, if there's a spare, then Darling's gonna use, oh shoot, what is it?
Are you gonna wreck my car?
No, Darling's gonna use God's favor to, convince a mortal passerby to change the tire.
Perfect.
Oh,
and it's Chip, and he like zips into the car and.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're mixing City of Mist games.
Easy enough, you can get the tire changed. I didn't know if you were all just actually driving together or not. So, you guys head to Steward University. It's not the biggest school in Naptown. It's a little on the smaller side, but it is recognized as one of the best colleges in the town, or universities. I guess those are different things. You make your way to the library, which itself is a red and tan brick building. It's rather large. The front stairway is made of these nice white stone steps. It looks very regal. It does have a slightly imposing look to it, but you can't really tell why because it's just architecture.
What is that supposed to mean?
You've seen imposing architecture. Look at the Haunted Mansion. It's a building. It shouldn't be scary, but yet buildings can be scary.
The buttresses, they're flying. We get it.
The thing that Steward University is mainly known for, though, it has a lot of groundbreaking research that happens there. It feels that, like, every other week something crazy has come out of this university, so much so that many companies offer scholarships and do a lot of funding of different professors research, there we go. Many different professors research with rights to be able to use this technology that they are researching. So as you guys arrive, the rain is falling gently at the scene. And it is letting up for the first time in what seems like weeks. It's no longer pouring. You guys are not miserably walking through the rain. You see a small crowd that is around the library. It's slowly starting to disperse. From what you know from Idris, that it's been about 12 hours since the body has been found, and this was big news on the campus, but everyone's starting to go away. You do see one older police officer there, and he seems to be in the process of finishing packing up stuff, ready to go home after what you can only imagine has been a very long day for him.
So is there is not a body still there that we can see,
There is
right?
not a body there,
Okay.
no.
But there's a group of people, presumably students and people affiliated with the college, and an older police
And
officer.
the bystanders are starting to lose interest since there's nothing really here anymore. The scene is being closed down, so the library steps will be opened momentarily, kind of thing.
So we established that we were going to stop and get me a cup of coffee. So I slept the whole way there, so I did not touch that cup of coffee.
Sure.
But, did they have
Cody.
portable cups of coffee?
What is the first
anyways?
thing? What is the thing we talked about in our
they did.
episode
The
0?
bartender?
We're not going to quibble over if it existed in the 20s.
Yeah, no, I know.
I'm assuming you got it from the bartender that you were at, since you're good friends with her. And she has to-go cups for you. She's
very progressive that way.
She gets what's up. Detective Tanner is gonna go up to the police officer that's leaving and hand him the cup of coffee. There you go, bud. You mind telling me what you got here?
What? I have a case of police equipment that I am taking. I don't know what voice I want to do. I have a bunch of police equipment that I'm just ready to take back to the precinct and go home. It's been a very long day for me.
Now look, alright? I got a buddy over there, his name's Seamus. He's gonna be more than happy to help you lug all that equipment. All I need to know is just a few little details, alright? So, what we have here, what'd you guys find,
Investigate. Right?
Yeah, investigate, because he's trying to... Make me a convince roll first to get him to stay. Because he wants to go home. And you're trying to convince him
Okay.
to stop and talk with you?
Can I use calm authority and being fast friends because I tried to butter him up?
Do you have anything that relates to being a police officer, really?
Calm authority.
Yeah, okay.
That was a 9 plus 2, so an 11.
So, on a 10 plus on a convince, they changed their agenda to include yours, at least for the time being. If I answer your questions, will you just let me go home?
Like I said, I'll do you one better. I'll help you carry the stuff to your car myself. Well, not me. I got other... You know what I mean. Anyways...
So I'm going to give him a tier 1 status of... I guess buttered up works well. So you have a +1 to make your investigate roll now.
I go ahead and take the equipment
so
to carry it for him, if he's willing to give it to me.
Yeah, he hands it off to you since you're if you're standing right there and points you can find the police car easy enough. It's not they're meant to be noticeable.
So the first thing I want to do is lock eyes with this police officer and go, "How did he die?" Ooh, that. If I'm using my hypnotizing
Are you
eyes-
only using that or are you using anything else?
Well, can I use the fact that I'm his friend and I'm still doing calm authority?
I will let you use one of them.
Okay, so that's an 8.
Oh yeah, that's not bad.
No, I just wanted it to be a 10, so I was trying to get more.
So, the way investigating works is you get clues equal to the power you spent, which you use 2 power. So you'll get 2 clues. So you get to ask him 2 questions. Again, I'll answer your one in a second. I get to choose one of these 3 things. I can expose you to danger. Your clues are fuzzy, incomplete, or part true, part false. Or whoever was asking the question can ask you one question as well, and you must answer in the same terms.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you fuzzy clues, or fuzzy answers, at least for the first one. Well, you know, like, I wasn't here. I'm just a beat cop, you know, he looked like he had some stab wounds in him, you know, looked nothing out of the ordinary. They were in his arms, he probably just bled out.
Got any suspects already?
Oh, I don't have any idea, you know, I've just been securing the scene all day. We haven't been looking around. I mean, if you really want to know something, maybe go talk to that kid over there. And he points to a guy. Said he found the body, been bragging about it all afternoon. Like finding a dead body, something to be proud of, and not just random chance you run into one.
Sick kids these days, you know. Always trying to find the macabre and the creepy. Just being all nuts, you know, these days. I say and, like, wink my old man wink at him.
By old man, you mean 40?
You know, yeah.
He's also, like, a similar age to you. Anything else that you need before I go home?
Well, I mean, I'd like to keep asking him questions, but you said I got 2, so
I mean,
no.
Right. I mean, that's the weird part about this game is I don't know what you're supposed to do when you just, like, when you're run out of questions, you know? Is anyone else doing anything while he's doing this?
Okay, Darling was gonna kind of take Faye over towards. Is the guy who found the body like pretty obviously still kind of peacocking? You know, like
yes.
Okay.
He's also being slightly ignored at this point. Like he's been peacocking all day, and like people here now are just like, I just want to use the library.
Yeah. Unless you want to do something else, Caitlin, I was gonna kind of drag you over to that guy with me.
Okay. Zach, I was gonna just like talk to other bystanders, but if that's not gonna yield anything different, then I can go with Darlene.
You can get the same information from them as you can from this guy.
Okay, I'll go with Darlene then.
He's a little bit more authoritative since he did find the body.
So my original plan was to shapeshift into looking more like a college co-ed so that it wasn't like, oh, why is this stranger coming and talking to us? So if I do that, can I give Darlene like an advantage?
If you roll to change the game, I think is what you would do for that.
Okay.
I think you'd roll change the game, and then you can use that to give give her a tag to help her out.
Okay.
Yeah, you could give Darlene positive tags or Darling.
Can she also roll with good team player? Because we're being team players.
Yeah.
1,000% yes.
Yeah.
And I would also say you can use your makes others focus on different people.
Okay.
Because I'm assuming you're trying to use yourself to draw attention.
I'm trying to lend credibility and make him more.
I would say that. I would say that fits with you're trying to focus attention away from yourself.
Yeah.
And get them to focus on something else of your choosing.
Okay, so that'll be +2 because I'm using
+3.
+3 because I'm shapeshifting. Yep. Okay, that will get me to a 9.
A 9. So you get 3 juice. Which you can spend to create a power 3 tag if you want. So you can create a tag, burn a power or story tag, which you don't want to do, or give reduce. So you could create a level 3 story tag of.
Okay, I will do forthcoming for him.
Okay, well, it'll be on Mandy.
Oh. I'll do
Trustworthy?
Level 3 confidant.
Okay. So, Mandy, you have a +3 for when you try to beguile him.
Nice. All right. Darling drags Faye over to that guy, and I think while she's got her like hand around Faye's wrist, she can like feel Faye change a little bit, which is a weird feeling, but we've done this before, so it's not like distracting. And when we get over to him, can you believe all of this nonsense? Everyone told me that you knew exactly what was happening. What did you see what happened here?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, you can say that. Like, I am the one who found the body, after all.
Really? Oh my goodness, that must have been so scary.
I mean, it was a little off-putting, but, you know, like, I'm pretty brave and strong. You know, I didn't have to worry about it. You know, I just reported it to the authorities, you know, let them know everything I knew.
Oh my goodness, you must have been so brave to be near the body. What did you see?
You want to make me a roll?
I do.
Also, Faye, what does your
Yeah?
shape-shifting look like? Is it like...
So for this, since I'm not, like, totally shape-shifting, I'm imagining that her face gets a little rounder and more youthful. Her, like, professional outfit, I'm thinking more like a pencil skirt and a tucked-in blouse becomes more like a sweater and a pleated skirt. And, yeah, that sort of thing.
My more question was, like, how does the transformation look when it happened? Like, when it's happening? Like, is it, like, just an instant thing where all of a sudden, like, she was wearing...
I imagine it like, have you seen the movie Lucy?
No.
Okay. There's a scene where Scarlett Johansson's the main actor in it, and there's a scene where she like her hair just changes color and grows a few inches, just kind of in like a split second.
Yeah.
It's not like instant, but it's just like real quick.
No, that's fine.
That's what I'm imagining.
I was just curious.
Yeah, it's not like snapping your fingers, but it's pretty fast. It just like subtly shifts.
So if people are watching you, they'd notice, but otherwise they're just going to do double take and be like, "What?"
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I would assume that even if someone was looking right at her, they
just be like, "Oh, that's."
They think that they like saw two different people. And
yeah, or like they saw a shadow or something.
Mundane people will.
Yeah.
Well, and it's been raining too, so I'm sure you've got some kind of like trench coat or something, you know, kind of covering up a little bit. So that probably helps.
I imagine that she has an umbrella, so people probably think it's just like shadow.
Yeah.
Okay, Mandy. Sorry to interrupt you. I was just curious.
That's totally fine. Could I add can I add Charmer and Rumors to that?
Definitely.
All right, and that's on top of that +3.
Do you want to add Appear as a close confidant as well?
It would not change the outcome.
It changes how many questions you get to ask them.
Oh, okay. Well, if I can add that, then it's an 11.
Okay. So, you get a full success, which means you get to just ask them 3 clues, or 3 questions. Or you have 3 clues, which you can spend to ask them 3 questions, or if you wanted to hang on to one, if you don't know what questions to ask right now, you can use this to mine for information later and, like, flash back to this conversation.
Can all of our rolls be like this, where we have just a +3 and we add 2 more, therefore all of our rolls are guaranteed to succeed?
Here's the other thing, like, things need to succeed right now because this is the beginning of the investigation. And
yeah,
if you
we
guys
can't
fail right now. It's like, well, we found nothing. Investigation's over.
Also, talking to people is like my thing.
Yeah. I guess it was just a normal death. He died of a heart attack. Let's go home.
It's a little early for the trail to go cold.
Okay, so 3 questions, or at least we get 3 clues out of it.
Right, and you wanted him to describe what happened, right?
The first thing that I want to get out of the question that I asked him, which was like a "what did you see," is a description of the body and if he could tell kind of like what the injury was. So like we kind of heard stab wounds, but like it like a little bit more descriptive, I guess, on like, was there like a lot of blood? Was it like a bunch of small stabs? Like what, just more detail, I guess, on the body itself.
Well, like I was walking out after midnight, you know, like sometimes you gotta work late with your studies, you know, it's hard. And I was walking out of the library and, well, I wasn't the library. I wasn't walking out of the library. We're at the library. But, like, so I was walking across campus, and then I noticed, like, I didn't see anything to begin with, but I noticed this, like, weird chemical smell that, like, reminded me of being in, like, the lab. But, like, I'm not in the lab, and, like, I don't smell this anywhere else, so I look around, and then I just see this guy lying on the steps of the library, and I run up to him, and He is a very big man, like, you know, at least like 7 feet tall. Oh wait, I shouldn't be like vague. Because, you know, I can't exaggerate since you actually get straight answers. He was like this 6 foot tall guy and like, you know, super burly, and I'm like, a guy like that couldn't be just like lying dead or anything. But then I looked for his pulse and there was nothing there. The weird part is it looked like he had these weird cuts on his arms, but like there was no blood or anything on the steps.
Okay. Anyone else have question ideas?
I have one.
Yeah, okay.
Can
Hit
you
me.
describe his pallor?
Oh my goodness, that's so gruesome. What? Was he already, like, blue in the face?
I mean, he looked pretty pale if you're asking me, but I mean, it was dark and it was hard to see, and then like I called the cops and they like showed up pretty quickly, but he didn't look very healthy, at least at the end, you know. Before that, he looked pretty strong, you know, like, man, never skip leg day or anything. And if you want to say hang on to a clue for later, you can, and you just have to you'd write down like on a sheet like interview with Jason, and then one clue.
Okay.
And then you can use it to flashback in case you think of something that he might have known to ask him, kind of thing.
Okay, that's nice.
Gotcha.
Right, so like, and you can do this anytime you guys investigate. You can stock up clues in case you're like, I don't have a question yet.
That is an awesome mechanic.
That is really
I love that
nice,
so
yeah.
much.
Yeah, it's so that like when you're like, oh, this would have been a really good thing to check out at the crime scene. Oh, look, I still have a clue from the crime scene. However, you can't use this clue to find out something that this guy would not know.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you couldn't be like, what was this guy's cause of death? Because Jason has zero idea what this guy's cause of death was. He just found him dead.
Okay. Yeah, in that case, I think I'll store up one clue, just because I'm kind of drawing a blank right now, so.
Gosh, I love that mechanic.
This game is really, really well thought out in most regards. The one thing I have, like, and I need to look through the book a little bit more, is, like, what happens when, like, the investigation just stalls out because, like, someone asked questions and they rolled poorly.
Can I search the ground now that the police officer has left?
Not yet. Seamus gets to do something first.
Real quick, I don't have a question for him, but can we still smell anything around the area?
Ooh, yeah.
No.
No. Okay.
Nothing out of the... you can smell, like, normal
So
things.
12 hours later, there is nothing particularly chemically smelling.
Correct.
Okay.
And I will say, you also do not... Well, actually, no. You can find out more about that if someone spends a clue investigating it, I will say.
Well, do you mean is that something that Jason would know, or...
No.
Okay.
No.
I understand.
But since people are investigating more of the ground around,
Gotcha.
they could ask more in-depth questions regarding to the smell.
Gotcha. Okay. Understood.
As of right now, I'm going to leave it as you don't notice any unusual smells.
Sounds good.
Seamus, what are you doing?
All right, so last time we saw Seamus, he was taking that case of equipment to the cop car. Like 30 minutes ago. No, I'm joking. What is this case? Like, would I know what's in this case? Is it like a suitcase? Like, what kind of thing am I
It's
carrying?
like a suitcase. It's what I assume generic tools, you know, like for analyzing a crime scene.
Okay. Is it possible for me to open it?
Yes.
When I get back to the car, how far away is the cop car?
It's probably 150 yards. So it's a little bit of a hike.
Okay. That's a bit. Okay. I really wanted to know if I had time before the guy arrives.
You do.
Okay. When I get to the car, is there any another officer like at the car or something?
Nope, he's the last one closing up.
Okay, perfect. I want to take a look inside this and see if I can get any clues out of
So
whatever equipment he was using.
You pop it open and you see it is just like the office supply equivalent of police tools. Like, it's like police tape and rulers and empty notepads and some sharpened pencils, and there is nothing of any value. Like, that being said, really good idea. I didn't want to, like, say no, but I'm like, I don't have anything you can learn from this.
Okay, that's fair. Worth a shot.
Is there anything else you'd like to do, though, since everyone else is taking time doing things?
If I had to walk, like, 3 football fields, I don't think I had time to.
Time is nebulous in this. If you want to let someone else do something, that's completely fine, but if you wanted to, I'm not going to penalize you for having a good idea and then it just not having any information and be like, well, that's the one thing I got to do is have Cody tell me to walk a box across campus.
Seamus, can you, when you come back, can you follow up on the smell? Is that something he can do?
Yeah.
If you want. If you don't want to do anything and you want to let Detective Tanner do more investigating, that's also completely fine. I just wanted to give you the opportunity to have stuff to do with your character, and I'm not going to penalize you for not choosing something for choosing something I wasn't thinking about.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I'll go ahead and let Detective Tanner start whatever he was going to do. Plus, I want to be taking notes. I haven't taken enough notes.
Well, first off, I want to go talk to Darling. Is it Darling or Darlin?
Darling.
Sorry. I just have, like, the impulse to shorten it to, like, Darling, but anyways.
The only reason it would come across that way is in her accent, but no, it's Darling.
Or potentially in an Irish accent.
Oh,
True.
Yeah, that's true. Well, how's it going, Darling? Just screwed it up.
So wait, how do you say your name? Is it Darlin or Darling? It's Darling. Okay, Darlin.
Do you go by Pat or Patrick? Well, usually Patrick. All right, Pat.
Okay, Rick.
I'm stupid. I'm sorry.
Well, I wasn't able to get a whole lot, but I did get a little bit about how Mr. Reid looked when he was found. Apparently there was a chemical smell around the area, cuts on his arms, no blood on the steps, and he was looking pretty pale. I don't know if that helps you any.
Well, that backs up what I got from the police officer there. I just got that he was stabbed and that they don't have any suspects at the moment, which, not too helpful if we're being honest with ourselves, but I do have some thoughts, So, here's the first one. Why is he here? Like, does anyone around campus know of this guy? Like, if we go and talk to the library, maybe they know something. I'm also curious, and this is the move that I want to do, is I want to try to look around. I'm wondering if maybe he was dumped here, what with the no blood and the already being pale. Because that also seems like a possibility at this point. It feels like a gesture that he was put here. You know what I mean?
I was thinking the same thing.
Well, I'm going to sniff around on the ground now that the local constabulary's cleared out, and I'll see what I can find. But I just wanted to talk with you and see if you had similar thoughts.
Great. And Faye and I can go see if anybody knows who this guy is and why he might be here.
All right, so are we going to head up the library steps?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Seamus, are you just going to join up with Detective Tanner then? When you come back, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Who wants to go first?
I assume we're going to do they don't have to repeat everything to me,
No,
right?
I'm assuming that all information is shared unless you tell me otherwise. Or unless there's
okay.
Obviously this wouldn't be shared, If there's a character revelation for Faye, that might not be common knowledge. If someone's, purposely gets her alone. But as of right now, you guys are sharing information freely.
Okay. I want to try to follow up on that chemical smell.
Okay.
That Jason described. I guess I probably would have to talk to him more. I guess what I was thinking was I was going to try to get a description of what he thought it was, and then see if I can discern what that might have been.
From what Darling has said, or what he said to Darling, was that they smelled a lot like lab chemicals. I don't have a list of specific chemicals, but they are not things that you would commonly smell outside of, like, a science lab. So they're things that are more rare to find in the wild, especially just on a city street.
Okay. I guess the things I was thinking of, especially piggybacking on what Cody was, or what Detective Tanner was thinking of, was if it was a body that was dumped here, if that smell we happen to smell was like formaldehyde, that might be
I was thinking
I was thinking formaldehyde too.
Since guy said it was something that he's smelled in a lab, you can probably make the safe assumption that it was probably not formaldehyde, because that is isn't formaldehyde used to, like, embalm bodies?
Then like an embalming.
Yeah, but I think it would be used like to embalm a dissection frog or something.
Yeah, I mean it could be used in a chemistry lab setting.
Well, Jason is
dumb.
No, Jason is... I have his major on here.
Okay.
Math. He's in chemistry, but formaldehyde would be more biology, so take that as what it is.
Zach, you telling us that all of us had the wrong idea here?
If you want to keep arguing with me, we can.
We want to keep arguing with you of the chemical that you made up to put in here.
Do you want to know what I put? Like, I will read my exact note. Where is my exact note? There's a faint smell of unusual chemicals.
Not formaldehyde.
Jason noticed the body because it smelled like lab chemicals. Those are the notes I have about the chemicals, so if you want it... It's not formaldehyde, I don't think, unless you want it to be formaldehyde.
No, that's okay.
Anyway, do you guys want to, like, investigate where the body was?
Yeah, I want to see if I can find, like, tracks.
Yeah, so you can... the Officer Tobias pointed out where the body was laying, and you can find it pretty easily. You notice...
I like how we're intuiting these people's names, even though we never asked them.
I have names and last names for everyone, except for
It's almost like you've learned from Cody's mistake.
Yeah, it's almost like that until, like, you guys are like, we're gonna go into the library. I'm like, wasn't expecting that. That's very reasonable, and now I need to make up a name.
You know enough librarians in your life.
Her name is Caitlin. She is the most beautiful librarian you have ever seen. Standing next to her is this kind of frumpy-looking librarian. His name is Zack. No way you could think that could ever be like that he could ever reach up to like Caitlin's level of beauty, but somehow she married him. Anyway, Cody or Tanner / Seamus, investigate that dirt.
Can I roll Finding Dirt and Private Eye?
Finding dirt, when I say investigate that dirt, feels a little weird. But yes, go for it.
A little on the nose.
Seamus, are you wanting to help him? Or do you want to make your own investigation roll? Which is completely fair.
Yeah, I'd be probably investigating with him.
If you want to help him, you can, how Faye did with the investigation, or you can make your own investigation roll, whichever you'd prefer.
I'll assist.
Okay, so Seamus, tell me with how you're assisting, what tags you're using, and roll me that juice. And by juice, I mean change the game roll.
So, I think the way I'm thinking this would go down, and this is probably a common occurrence in our investigations, is Detective Tanner will like point out the things he notices, and then Seamus will like use his dog tags to kind of like get more info about what that might have been, or try to get like, oh, these shoes look like they had this print, and then he can like use his tags like, oh, that was this type of shoe worn by this type of person, or something like that.
Okay.
Like, intuit more information than what is like. What is actually visible. So I guess I'd be using my see the unseen.
Do you want knowledge of the past as well?
I was wondering about that one. Do you think that one? I guess that would apply if we're trying to figure out like tracks.
Right. I think since you're like actively investigating like what was here before, you know, it's not like something might be here. It's like something definitely happened at that location that you're trying to discover. I'd say it's okay.
All right.
Roll that tag. Or that. Change the game.
That is an 8.
All right, you can create a story tag, burn a power or story tag, or give or reduce a status. 1 point per point of juice. So if you want to spend both points of juice, you could give Tanner a level 2 plus or a +2 on this investigate check.
Okay, and do I have to like find a tag for that? Like
you'd have to come up with a name.
This is where I'm not entirely sure how this part works.
Yeah, you'd create a status tag, so it would be something like knowledgeable, you could put, or like...
Is there like a list of them?
There is not.
In a book
it's like any
okay.
adjective you can think of.
Okay. Sexy. No, I'm joking. I'm going to do insightful.
Okay. So you have insightful +2 to your roll, Detective Tanner.
All right, I rolled an 11.
How many? And you use 2 tags, so you get 2 questions out of it.
I used 2 tags and then Vinny's +2.
Those only help you get a higher number result. They don't...
Okay. So I used 2.
For reference, if you look at the rules, it says clues equal power. Status is different than power.
Okay.
So here's a question. With my change the game roll, is there a difference between 7 and 9 and 10 plus?
Yes, 10 plus lets you do different things. So on a 10 plus, you always get a minimum of 2 juice, even if you only rolled with 1 power.
Okay.
And then you can scale up the effects, which means you can target more than one person. You can prolong the effects, so like make it an ongoing thing. It's not just like a 1 turn. Like right now, it's a 1 turn thing that Cody uses, and then it's gone.
Okay.
You can...
Okay, so there's not really a negative effect.
Right, so some of them...
Because like a lot of 7 and 9s are like, they ask you a question back, or you don't get a complete answer. There's not really a negative.
This is a partial success, and by that it means you get a one-time bonus instead of keeping it going.
Okay, that's what I just wanted to check.
So, you got an 11, so you get 2 answers to your questions.
Okay, how was he put here?
So from what you can tell, there's still the chalk outline there. He was, it just looks like he was just thrown here in a very haphazard way. I will also say, like, you're a detective, you're not dumb. You also do observe that there are burn marks where his arms were.
Ooh.
But no one has noted anything, there's scorch marks, which are slightly different than burn marks. But no one has mentioned anything about any weird damage being done to his arms so far other than them being cut.
Okay, and so he was thrown here. Do I see, is this the same question of how he was put here? Like, how did they get here? Can I see, like, prints or, like, because he's a big guy, so someone had to carry a huge guy across
or
campus.
They had, like, a wheelbarrow or something.
So, I would say that's a different question.
Okay, so how was he transported?
This is an unsatisfying answer that they were able to cover their tracks very well, actually, because that there's stone and brick pathways everywhere.
Oh, okay.
But a better response means they came from stone and brick pathways, which means either like that they weren't just dragging them through campus. So it looks like it was a little bit more premeditated than an accidental mugging.
I want to see his body, but we can't see his body. I keep wanting to say what's in his pockets. Well, I'm done then.
All
I
right.
get 2, right? So that was
you got 2. Yep. Faye and Darling.
We go into the library.
Yeah.
All right. So you walk into the library. There is the typical front desk there. You see a librarian. She does not have glasses, but she does have her hair in a bun. She's wearing typical work clothes for the 20s, so she looks very professional. She has her head down and she looks like she's working, but she is not uninviting when you guys walk in.
I was just laughing at the fact that our first mission of this campaign, we go to the library. 2/5 of our group are librarians.
2/5 so far.
Right, I don't have a career yet.
Libraries!
I mean, I am looking for a job, so who knows? Could be 4/5. One of us.
So, I think before we get to the desk that she's at, Faye is going to kind of whisper to Darling.
It's a library, that's not weird.
Right. So what angle do you think we should take with this? What might she know that Jason didn't? Do you think we can ask her about the smell? Maybe she knows something about it?
That's possible, especially if she came in early today. Maybe she was able to smell something. And then I would like to know if maybe she has seen him around.
Oh, right. Yes.
I'm sure students don't always take notice if he's maintenance or a professor from a different college or something like that. So that's my hope, is that we'll get a little bit more clarification on that.
All right, that sounds good. So
Go team.
So, we approach the desk and Faye kind of clears her throat and says, "I'm sorry to bother you, ma'am, but do you know anything about the commotion outside? I heard there was a death."
Oh, it's no problem. Yes, unfortunately, that the library was used as a dumping ground last night for a poor man who appears to have been murdered. But everything has been sorted out, and the campus is adding extra security, so this will not happen again.
That sounds...
Are you still
terrible.
a co-ed, by the way?
Yes.
Okay.
That sounds terrible. Who was it?
It was not... You should not worry. It was not one of our students. We don't know who exactly it was. The police did not inform us. However, they were able to tell us that beyond the shadow of a doubt, it was not someone who attends this university in any fashion. They were not a professor. They were not a student. They were not anyone on staff. So this campus is as safe as it has always been. It appears that someone just used this campus as a dumping ground, which is unfortunate, but I think it is the best that we could have all hoped for given the circumstances.
Yes, that's a bit of a relief, but it's tragic about the poor man.
Oh, I completely agree. It is very distressing, but we don't want this to reflect badly on this university at all. You know, this is a great place to study and learn, and I'm sure it will never happen again. At this point, you kind of get like, she is being very nice, but this is like really disturbed her as well.
Okay.
Like, and she's not being difficult with you. Like, the reassurance is not...
It's like for herself as well.
Right.
Yeah.
She's saying it because this is like the company line that they've been told to say, but she's also saying it to reassure herself, like, if I say this enough, I will start to believe it.
Gotcha.
Darling, it's like so she's behind like a library desk, right?
Yes.
So it wouldn't be, would it be too unreasonable to think that, Darling would kind of lean over the desk and could like touch her hand?
No, I think that's fine.
And,
I think she's in a state of mind where you could do that without like her noticing, and then it like feel comforting, not
aggressive. Yeah.
Okay, and because that would be the intention, is to go very comforting. And I used the wrong name of it before. It wasn't God's favor. I actually want to use dominatrix.
kinky.
That's controlling the wills of mortal through touch. And I want to try to give her like a little bit of, I want to take away some of the anxiety, you know, just kind of give her like a sense of calm. Oh, ma'am, I know it is just absolutely dreadful what happened out there, but thank goodness there are so many people just looking to keep us all safe.
Are you attempting to do anything mechanical with this, or just narrative?
I think narrative.
Okay.
Unless, Caitlin, you think maybe her relaxing would give us some more information, but...
I think Faye will use it as a way to keep her in the conversation just a bit longer.
Okay.
Yeah, not really, but...
Then, Mandy, can you make me a change the game roll?
Sure.
Do you want to add anything else to calm her down while you're doing this?
So let me see. That tag would be dominatrix. Could I also use charmer again?
Sure.
I only realized I just had this, which is why I'm asking. Would distraction work?
Oh, no, why not?
Okay, cool. Well, that's not great. Oh, but I did just get a 7.
So you do get to create a story tag, and you can use that to spend on giving her a status. So I want to give her the status of like relaxed 3.
That sounds great because I don't have the thing in front of me. So yeah, relaxed 3 sounds great.
So she seems to calm down a little bit. And Caitlin, roll me an investigation roll since you're trying to get something a little bit more out of her. You get a +3 with whatever you add of your own.
Okay. Okay. Woo. That is a
What-
10 plus stuff, so
What tags are you using?
I don't know if it matters.
It does, because that's how many clues you get.
Okay.
So in this game, almost always it matters how much stuff you add, like what numbers you, like what tags you add, because that tells us how many clues or status effects or whatever you can do with that. So, like in this case, if you use 3 tags, you get 3 clues.
Okay.
That's why outside Cody can only use 2 questions.
Okay. I'll use won't take no for an answer.
Okay.
If that works.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. So you get a success. You're using 1 tag. You get to ask her 1 question.
This is maybe a bit odd, but did you notice there's a sort of smell lingering around the building? We just came in and it's just stuck in my nose. I can't get it out and it just makes me think about that poor man on the steps.
I personally haven't noticed any smell, but I can make sure to go out there or I can contact custodial and make sure that they clean up any like lingering remnants that might be causing a smell out there. Thank you for letting me know.
I can't think of anything else.
Well, if you have any more questions, be sure to stop by. The library is always here to help.
Thank you so much.
And then she goes back to work.
Uh-huh.
I'm assuming you guys are heading out.
Real quick, I'm not any good at investigating stuff, but like while we're walking out, is there any possibility that while we're walking out, I notice some kind of like a plaque or something that may have been like, this library was important for some reason? My thinking is I'm trying to figure out why this person would have been left here.
Oh, like who
and just
they might be sending a message to by leaving a body here?
Exactly. So I like I don't know if there's like a dedication or something that might be helpful.
You don't notice anything like that between talking with Faye and Tanner, because I think they both have hit higher education of some sort. Because I'm assuming police officers were trained even back 100 years ago. This library is well known for the research it does. Faye has come here on occasion to help research cases, both like for law, because it is such an extensive library here. Mm-hmm. And part of that is it's that like circling thing where it has a really good library, so they're able to do really good research. So they make a better library, so they can do even better research. Kind of cyclical thing with it. So, like, it is a very prominent library. There is a lot of really interesting stuff for all different majors of things. But there isn't anything why you'd think someone would just drop a body on its doorstep.
Okay.
There isn't something like, this place is haunted.
I mean, hey, you never know.
I mean, no more than every university campus has every building mildly haunted from, like, rumors, you know. There's nothing that's like, the ghost of Stewart University Library wanders the halls, claiming the blood for a dead loved one. No, there's none of that more than the usual amount of that, where you're like, okay, this is probably normal.
Or like this, this person donated an obscene amount of money, therefore it's their library.
Right. No, it's...
Okay.
You have heard rumors of it being having a lot of weird stuff in it, like artifacts and archives of stuff, but there's nothing in this case so far that would point you in that direction. It doesn't look like a break-in. Nothing was damaged in the library. It looks like the guy was... And talking with Tanner, it looks like the guy was literally, like, dropped there, and the guy ran.
Okay.
All right. So you guys all reconvene, share your information with each other. Or why don't you guys reconvene and talk with each other, since you got a game plan to go forward, or want a game plan to go forward.
Well,
so how did it go? Nope, never mind. Sorry, I'm tired, and sometimes when I'm tired, I talk over people. Go ahead, Faye.
Well, the librarian confirms that. Do we know his name is? We were told his name is Victor, right? Yeah.
Yes,
that Victor.
You know the victim was Victor.
Victor Reid.
Victor Reid.
The librarian confirmed that Victor was not a student, not a professor, and not staff of the institution. So he seems to have no connection here himself. Unless the murderer does? What about you? Were you able to find out anything?
Well, it's funny you say in case the murderer does, because here's what I found out. Well, burn marks by his wrists where he was stabbed, so his blood was lava, I guess. We'll get to that later. But body was dumped here with no tracks and no blood, so he wasn't killed here, he was left here. Now, maybe it was a haphazard chance, but it seems to me it was probably left here on purpose, because if someone was going to leave a body somewhere, why would they leave it here? But the person had to take pathways on the campus to get the body here. They didn't just drag it across the field. So my guess is it came from one of the buildings. Someone drug him outside and left him. Now, maybe not the library, because they probably wouldn't want to leave it on their own doorstep, whoever it was. But maybe they're trying to drag him someplace, some kid walks by, they spook and run.
And Jason said something about he smelled like chemicals from the lab. Maybe we can see if the lab is connected via paths to here?
Yeah.
And something else you said he was stabbed in the arm, or does he have slashes across his arm?
What I have is stab wounds in the arms. At least that is what the police officer cited as possible cause of death.
And when I talked to Jason, he said that there were cuts on the arms. So no, I guess generally speaking, looks like cuts or slashes, but until we can take a look at the body or some kind of report, I think that's what we have to go off on.
Well, who's up for a little lab tour? Anyone?
I am always a lover of science.
As the party heads towards the labs, night begins to descend on campus. The rain continues to fall as a figure emerges from the nearby shadows. I think my day just got a little more interesting. Hey Wanderers, we hope you enjoyed this episode of Naptown Chronicles. If you'd like more content from the Wandering Gamer Network, you can check out the Wandering Gamer Network website. We also post Let's Plays that we do on YouTube under the username Wandering Gamer Network. We have live streaming of these episodes on Twitch most Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so stop by and chat with us for a while. We can be found at wandering_gamer_network. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. The intro and outro music was composed by the talented Caitlin Balgaman, who is the voice of Faye Cameron in this podcast. All other music is from bensound.com or the public domain. Now, sleeper, it is time to rest, and remember, it's the gods who envy us.